Well, hello to L. Now that you are all brushed up and you know exactly what a similar triangle is, we're going to figure out how they're useful. So our topic today is similar triangles, and our learning goal, I can successfully determine the value of an unknown side when given similar triangles. So we're just going to get right into doing that here. I've got a couple of different similar triangles here. We know they're similar. How do we know they're similar? Because they have the same angles. Look, this one has one marked double and one marked double. That means those angles that have the same marks on them are the same angle. And then this one has one tripled and one tripled, which means those are the same angle. And then this has a single mark and a single mark, which means those are the same angle. So they have all the same angles so that we know that they are actually similar triangles. Now we got to figure out what this X and Y are though. And here's how we're going to do that. We're going to actually set up ratios. And this is three-part ratios. You did a bunch of three-part ratios just when I gave you three-part ratios. Now we have to actually set them up. So this says, make sure that the sides are lined up according to the equal angles in the triangle. So we're going to set up the ratios. So I'm going to write these down, and we're going to do it vertically the way that we were doing it before. I'm going to write the big triangle sides all down vertically. And by that I mean top to bottom. So I'm going to go 6, 8, 7. 6, 8, 7. Now since this triangle's been rotated around, we got to be careful which order we put those sides in. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a look at the 6, and the 6 is across from the single mark that I've marked in yellow. So I'm going to go over to my other triangle and see the yellow mark, and then go across from it and see that I got a 4. So the 4 must go with the 6. Now I'm going to look at the 8 here. The 8 is across the mark, the 3 mark that I put in purple, and over here the purple side across from it is Y, so the Y must go there. And lastly, that means that if we look at the 7, it's across from the double mark, which I've put in this blue color, and across from the blue mark there is the X. So we've got these lined up according to the equal angles, and you got to be very careful when you're doing that. Now we're going to set up two ratios and solve the problem. So we're going to split them apart into two ratios. And remember, when we're solving these ratios, the important one is the one that has two numbers in it, and we're going to use that 2 times. So we're going to go 6 over 8, 6 over 8 equals 4 over y. 4 over y. And then we're going to use that 6 over 4, the 6 and the 4 again, but we're going to use it this time with the 7 and the x. So we're going to go 6 over 7, 6 over 7 will equal 4 over x. 4 over x. And we're just going to do cross multiplying. So remember, cross multiplying, we multiply the two numbers and divide by the one that's left over. And we multiply the two numbers and divide by the one that's left over. So let's do that. So we will take y equals 8 times 4 divided by 6. And let's have a look at that. 8 times 4 divided by 6 is about 5.3. And over here, our x is going to be 7 times 4 divided by 6. Now notice I used a different notation here. I used the time sign here, and here I just used brackets. You need to get used to that because you're going to see that from time to time. So 7 times 4 divided by 6 is 4.7 about, if we're rounding. Now, going over to the next page, I've got a couple more things here that I want to go through. So this video might get a little bit long, but we're taking a look. First of all, this says we don't need these two sides. So we don't have to do a 3-part ratio. We're only going to do a 2-part ratio. But we do have to know which angles are the same. So I'm going to take my colors again. And I'm going to say, first of all, I know that this angle and that angle are the same. And the reason I know they're the same is because they're across from each other. Anytime two lines cross, the ones across from them are the same. And I also know that this angle and this angle are in here are the same. And you may have heard before that they make a Z pattern. So anytime you see a Z, the two angles that are inside the Z are the same. And it works backwards and forwards. So if I draw it this way as well, which is actually the forward Z, then the two angles inside there are also the same. So that means that if I take my color again here, that this and this are the same. So what that means is if I want to take these two numbers here, 4 and 5, now I have to figure out what goes with each of them. So across from the 4 is the yellow, and across from the yellow in the other triangle is 14. So the 14 has to go beside the 4. And 5 is across from purple, and across from the purple down there is X. And now we're going to use cross multiplying. Multiply there, divide by that, and we get X equals 5 times 14 divided by 4. So 5 times 14 divided by 4 is 17.5. So we found the value for X, which is all we needed to find in this one. Now go down to the next one. Let's see. Do we have any Z's or anything here? Well, we actually have one thing that's already been marked. So we know that those two angles are the same. And let's use my handy colors for that. I'm going to put colors on there so that we can look at them a little more. And we do have a Z going this way. It's a backward Z, which means that this in here and this in here are the same. And then we know that this and this, since they're across from each other in straight lines, they're also the same. So let's set up our angles. I'm going to put this triangle down the first side, so we got 12, P, and 5. And then this triangle I'm going to put the other side, but we got to be careful of the order. So here the 12 is across from the green, and across from the green in the other triangle is a Q. So I'm going to put the Q. P in this triangle is across from the pink, or that's not pink, that's blue. Across from the blue here is 27.3. 27.3. And the 5 in this triangle is across from the purple, so across from the purple here is 10.5. Now again, the important one that we're going to use more than once is the one that has two numbers in it. So we have to use that one more than once when we set up our ratios. So our ratios are going to be 12 over 5 and Q over 10.5. 12 over 5 equals Q over 10.5. And we'll do cross multiplying on that. But let's set up the other ratio here. We'll go P over 5 equals 27.3 over 10.5. So P over 5 equals 27.3 over 10.5. And cross multiplying, I'm going to do that really quick. See how quick that was? Speedy, wasn't it? And then the next one, let's set it up. I'm going to show you how to set it up again. We're going to take the first triangle, and they've already got the angles marked, so we'll just go with their marks. We'll put 6A and 7, 6A and 7 down, and then we have to figure out which one goes beside it. So across from the 6 here is the dot, and so the dot in here has a B across from it, so the B goes there. The A has a double mark. The double mark in this triangle is across from 32, so we got to put a 32 there, and the 7 is across from the single mark, and here's a single mark here, which is across from 22.4. 22.4. So now we're going to take the one that has two numbers, which is this one, and remember we have to use that twice when we're setting up our ratios. So that's going to be 6 over 7 and B over 22.4. So we go 6 over 7 equals B over 22.4. And then A over 7 equals 32 over 22.4. A over 7 equals 32 over 22.4. And I'm going to do that very fast cross multiplying one more time. Ta-da! And there we have it. So don't lose sight of what we're actually finding here. Don't get lost in the calculations. We're finding the lengths of the sides. So what this tells us is that side A in this triangle, instead of that being side A, we know that it is 10 long. And in this triangle B, instead of being side B, we know it is 19.2 long. Could be centimeters, could be inches, could be feet, could be meters. I don't know what it is. Could be miles, but it's 19.2. And we're going to leave it at that. You have a worksheet to do.